When I was a kid, I always wondered, how am I going to discover my power? What will it be? Will I sit down in front of a piano and beautiful music will just come flowing out of me? Or will I pick up a tennis racket and discover an amazing talent for the game? In my fantasy, I wouldn't have to work or study. It would just happen like magic. I would find my thing, and I would reveal my power. When I was a sophomore in college, my grandmother sent me a bicycle. I hadn't been on a bike since my elementary school days, but when I got on that bicycle, I felt powerful. I felt fast and free. I rode that bike everywhere on campus. You wouldn't see me without it. And that led for me to sign up for a cross-country bicycle ride. I think I thought, if I ride my bike for 4,000 miles, that'll prove it. That's my thing. There were a couple problems with me so rashly signing up to ride from DC to San Francisco that summer. One of the problems was I was supposed to work and earn money for college tuition. And another problem was I had never done any long-distance bike riding. But I was so convinced that this was my destiny, and so I willed it into being. I even came up with the idea of renting my bedroom in my parents' house in DC to a college student who was doing an internship on the Hill. And my parents later forgave me for that. And as for preparing for the ride, I trained hardly at all. I did a couple of 2-hour rides on a Saturday, but it turns out that's not really good preparation for riding 8 hours a day for 50 days straight. The trip launched from DC. I met the other 28 riders. We wore matching yellow jerseys. We had matching purple Cannondales. We lined them up in front of the Washington Monument and posed for pictures. We compared pedal clips and camelbacks. And on that first day, I was fueled by that sense of camaraderie and by the energy of launching into this new adventure. And we rode on beautifully manicured bike paths out into the suburbs of Northern Virginia. And that night, I slept on the floor of a church. And when I woke up around 2 in the morning, I thought, oh my God, I'm never gonna walk again. I had pain from my toes to my waist. Actually, I had pain in my arms, too. And I sort of Frankenstein walked to the bathroom and back to my sleeping bag. And I shocked myself in the morning by walking again and actually getting back on the bicycle. But the romance had worn off. And it turns out that riding your bicycle an average of 86 miles a day is really hard. And I wasn't very good at it. I was really slow. I was so slow that our sweeper, who's the designated last rider, he would catch a couple extra hours of sleep in. It's okay, I'll catch up with you by lunch. And I was so slow that I frequently met people at rest stops who had seen my team down the road. Yeah, like a couple towns up. One time I was trying to get up this hill, and this guy actually pulled his minivan over and pleaded with me, could you let me take you just to the top of the hill? Your bike would fit in my minivan. It would be like 2 minutes. It was really embarrassing. And my team members, they were not mean about it. They said, hang in there, and you're gonna get it. They didn't make me feel ashamed, but I felt ashamed, and I was the last to roll into our destination each night. And then things got really bad. It was cold. We were in the Blue Ridge Mountains. It rained for 2 weeks straight. Rain that accumulated in my helmet and rolled down my back and pooled in my shoes. And I can remember just riding my bicycle in the rain and crying. And I don't know why I didn't quit. I think it was because I couldn't figure out how to quit. Nobody was gonna come pick me up. And turning around and riding home was just as bad as going forward. Plus, I didn't have a bedroom for the summer. in Kentucky, my teammates decided to go out to the bar in this small town. Our team filled that dive up, and I was too young to drink. I dutifully accepted those black X's on both of my hands. But there was music playing, and I danced my heart out. I did not care who was watching, what they were saying. I danced my butt off. And my teammates, they said, "We have never seen this side of you before. You're the dancing queen." And when I showed them a little bit of the real me, I started to feel a little less lonely, even though I was still riding alone. I was riding alone one day in the Missouri Ozarks when the sun finally came out. And it felt amazing on my skin, and I was just riding that bicycle. I think I was enjoying the ride for the first time since that first day. And I almost didn't see her until she was about 10 yards down the road in front of me. A huge mountain lion, the size of a large German shepherd. And she was sauntering down the road, and she was soaking in the sun. And I braked, and my brakes squeaked, and she turned, and I froze. And she froze, and we locked eyes. And my heart surged with awe for her beauty and her power. And then in an instant, she jumped off the road and vanished into the brush. And when I rode into the destination that night, I was brimming with stories from the road. My teammates rode so fast and in such noisy clusters that they could never have experienced what I saw on the road. I would always be slow, but I had a quiet power like that mountain lion, and that was enough to fuel me all the way to San Francisco. Thank you.